Hi, everybody. This is 1,240 days. See if you can hear me. Let me go on here. Oh, I see. Um, I am going to go on Facebook, but I think I'm going to go on TikTok first. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's go on TikTok first. Um, if this is 1,240 days, and we are moving up in TikTok. We've been shadow banned. Absolutely. I have a friend that is very, very good at tech, and he is absolutely telling us that we're shadow banned. And so we've moved over to um, to TikTok also, and Rumble and Twitter, and which is X now. And we're just and there's others too, YouTube, that we are trying to reach out uh, and get the word out about what happened to Richard, that he is a Vanessa Guillen First Absent Soldier. That is a designation from the Army, and it's a little bit longer. The first CONUS S1 missing soldier under the new Vanessa Guillen Absent Soldier flowchart. So we just kind of shortened it and put in there that he is the Vanessa Guillen First Absent Soldier. So let's see. I'm just going to load this up because I think it's really important. Um, and I'm going to say the Director of Emergency Services, DES, audio, audio claims, corroborate, um, yeah, they corroborate what we already know, and that they conducted an op-ord smear campaign on Richard. So that is really team find Richard Halliday. I'm trying to do two things at one time. DES audio claims corroborate. Team find Richard Halliday. Hard evidence. Because we have hard evidence, right? We have hard evidence of the smear campaign on Richard. And so we have just been constantly getting information, putting it on here, and I just want you to know that it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and this is what our our agencies should be doing for us, right? They should be doing this, but it's the very agencies that cause these few leaders that cause the trouble with the agencies because, and I'll discuss it, um, and I have it on here already. Retaliated, Fort Bliss, whistleblower, code red, missing, and murdered. Um, just to show you all that what we have to do. And the day, what is the day? Day 1,240. Yep, there. Put that out. And then I'll just DES audio. And and this is what we've been doing every day, and it just takes so much time. and effort, and I'm very glad to do it for Richard. I miss him. I love him. I can't believe how evil uh, the murderers are because they dismembered Richard. They tortured him first. They tortured him. They kidnapped him. They tortured him. They before that they set him up um, to smear him, to discredit him, and that we have hard evidence was all dismissed. Thank you, Alma Trejo, the judge that knew what was going on. She smelt it that something was stinky with these leaders, and so she really helped Richard out. She saved the day with Richard, and we were very appreciative to that. So yeah, so that's up now. It should be up any minute. We had one video uh, that had 3,000. It has 3,607 views on TikTok, and we're at 3,919 followers. So this is really good news. I'm starting to get some um, comments on here too. That helps. So let's go to Facebook now. And we're still on Facebook, and we'll use whichever. I know that Angela Kercherga said when I told her that we were on TikTok, and she's like, "Oh, I don't use TikTok," and I'm like, "Well, I guess she doesn't have a missing son, right? She doesn't have a missing son." So, okay. So I think I'm on, and I think you can hear me. And we'll use. Yep. Okay. So let's talk about um, whistleblowers. Let's talk about their motives, because absolutely Thomas Kane, with his letter, is a whistleblower, right? Because he, in the letter, um, claims that the leadership did not want another Guillen, a, a Guillen case, right? A Guillen problem, which means um, releasing Richard's cut up, dismembered remains to us, having to go through that, in less than a month, or in a short time span, because of course she was killed in April, found at the very end of June, and then announced that it was her very beginning of July. And of course, that July of 2020 is when all of this happened to Richard, as far as the escalation of the continuous severe for months and months retaliation, the code red, because he was a whistleblower, and his case, who he was whistleblowing on, seems to be very connected to the August 3rd, which is Dallas Hart's birthday, 2019 Walmart mass shooting case. And it seems to me that if I was an investigator, and I've been made an investigator, and I've learned a lot in these 3 years how to investigate and to discern, and I would be investigating on who helped Patrick Crusius, the autistic Patrick Crusius. There's no way that he could do this on his own, in my opinion. In my opinion, we know now through Loretta Lynn Hewitt, we know that they're on their 9th prosecutor of the Walmart case. We know that Bill Hicks has been accused now of politicking the case. We know that. We know that there's more claims of that. because he doesn't even have a court date for the Patrick Crucius case, which is the August 3rd, which is Dallas Hart's birthday, Walmart mass shooting. He doesn't even have a court date on this open and shut case. It's an open and shut case, right? It should be, but I don't think it is. And what they're trying to do is cover it up with Richard's case. It's very clear that they're connected, that those, to me, it's suspicious, right? Suspicious. And that, like I'd be looking at Dallas Hart. Did Dallas Hart have a connection with Patrick Crucius? Who in this group of people might have connections to autism, someone that they know that's autistic? Are they connected through any kind of autistic group or center or training or whatever, right? Because, you tend to be close when you go to these help centers and things like this. And who then was maybe leading, where did the weapons come from, right? Let's scrutinize where the weapons came from. That is what I would be looking into, is were there any military that were helping him? What is the connection between Fort Bliss and the Walmart mass shooting case? I'd be looking into that if I was an investigator. And I would be looking at everyone associated with Bliss Avenue, because Bliss Avenue is not part of Richard's case, and then we discovered that it was connected to the Walmart case. No, it was the Walmart case, the Patrick Crucius case, and it had Danae Katzen, it had Tanya Katzen, it had the Rochas, it had the same medical examiner who is Mario A. Rascon Ortiz. And then Felix Valenzuela's name gets on there. And then, of course, that's connected to Fort Bliss. It's connected to William Beaumont. It's connected to the mortuary affairs. And so it was part of the Walmart case. And then, the same people that are involved in Richard's case are, that Bliss Avenue is key to understanding both cases. And when we find out one case, we'll find out the other. So I would absolutely look into the Hart family. I would absolutely look into the medical examiner. I would absolutely, look into who helped Patrick Crucius, because when they find that out, and you can say, oh, but they've been investigating 4 years. No, the case is in pieces. The case is in pieces. 4 years after the mass shooting, and Bill Hicks is publicly stating that he still doesn't have evidence. He's still putting together the evidence, okay? Think about that. Think about the bullets, the forensics, right? The weapons, the shooter, the victims. Think about the CCTV footage, all of this. And he's having a hard time, right? He's having a hard time. He doesn't have this case together. That's what he's saying. And this case, and then you have Loretta Lynn Hewitt, the prosecuting attorney that was hired to take over the case. She's saying it's in pieces. She's saying it's being politicized. She's pointing her finger at John Briggs, who has been there all along. So we've been doing some investigating of John Briggs, because he was there under Jaime Esparza. he was there under Yvonne Rosales, the district attorney, and he, of course, is there under Bill Hicks. So he is, for us, a key figure because he has stuck around, right? So what is he doing in Richard's case, and what is he doing in the Walmart mass shooting case? I think that is very, very important. And since he's been there so long, was he aware that Richard was a whistleblower? Right? Was he aware that Richard was a whistleblower? And because we're getting more whistleblowers. We have dozens of whistleblowers. Okay, dozens, and I have here some new information that we received that I think is very important. Let's see if I can find it because we have so much. Because I've been concentrating on Kane, the Thomas Kane. Yeah, there seems to be some kind of military intelligence breach that Richard was exposing. Okay, that is, needs to be confirmed, but this is some new information. Of course, the illicit crimes, activities that were going on. Of course, the scandals. Also, I think there's a lot of military scandals because of all the sex cult activity that was there with the child pornography. And plus, I know these scandals that are in this group. It's just one scandal after the other. And all you have to do is look at Leilani Hart with Tavita Nusa having an affair with a CID special agent that's married. They're both married to different individuals. So he's compromised. He's compromised, and of course he lost his badge. Of course, that is that's a scandal. And now with this divorce, the divorce proceedings are very interesting, and we're keeping a very close look at these divorce proceedings because we already found out through that they were having threesomes, that they're very involved in this sex cult. And it is a problem when you can be compromised, right? It is a big problem that you can be compromised and that you have criminal claims on you, that you're involved in child pornography and you're involved in sexual assault against a 7-year-old boy in Leilani Hart's master bedroom. It is a problem when there are claims with child pornography and illegal weapons purchasing. When there is many claims of some of these illicit activities being with weapons smuggling and, of course, ammunition smuggling. And then there's claims that there's tampering with the weapons. There's tampering with the weapons, and then you have a criminal complaint that was accepted by the FBI that James Hart was purchasing weapons illegally. Okay, you know, and then you have that health and welfare check from the colonel in 2023 after the murder of 3 individuals, I believe, at the Cincinnati incident. And the health and welfare, they show that there is all of these unregistered weapons on Fort Bliss. Of course, when you have a security breach issue, you're going to have, and then you have leadership that's more involved in a sex cult, more involved in illicit activities with weapon smuggling and narcotics trafficking and child trafficking, and and they want to make this money off of that. They have this business plan on these illegal activities. Um, in our opinion, because that's what's going on, right? There's missing children. There's lots of drugs. There's a problem with PTSD, and there's all kinds of sexual harassment and sexual assault, and there's all kinds of illegal weapons, and so it's all going on. It's not me assuming this stuff. It's not me just, talking from the hip and saying, oh, there could be. No, there is. There is this kind of illicit criminal activity going on Fort Bliss that clearly show that there is a security issue. And of course, we have the active duty soldier that has called for a congressional inquiry, because he says there is a security issue, security breach on Fort Bliss, because it's a fact. It's a fact that a 14-year-old girl was living in the barracks being prostituted out. It's a fact that there is illegal drug market in the barracks, and there is a weapons problem in the barracks, and there is a sexual assault and sexual harassment issue in the barracks. That is all a fact, and there's a fact that there's 85,000 unaccounted for minors, children that just vanished from Fort Bliss. That's a fact. That's a fact, right? So, and that intake center, huge place. And it's a fact that something that is really bad is going on at 3905 Bliss Avenue. Okay? That's a fact. So we have a lot of hard evidence. We have a lot of facts. We have a lot of whistleblowers, dozens of whistleblowers. And Thomas Kane being one of them. Don't forget, Thomas Kane is one of them. He provided us with information with the JAG. He provided us with information that the JAG was working outside of the law. He was providing us information that the command was working outside of the law, that they were retaliating against a key witness in Richard's case without even doing an investigation. This is obstruction of justice. Without doing an investigation, without a packet, without even a packet. They have violated their regulations. They're working outside of the law. It's a fact. And Thomas Kane also, in his official capacity, signed that witness statement. So that is really important for people to understand in the audio that he's just a good whistleblower, right? He's a good whistleblower. So the audio that we have of Thomas Kane is, he's saying that the leadership is, putting forth this operational order, right? This plan, this conspiracy, this collaboration, whatever you want to call it, to smear Richard, to smear his character, to discredit him, and that they did that. Okay, this was an internal hit. This, and to take away all incentive. Anthony Swafford is one of them, the MP, to take away the incentive of the MPs, and it worked really well on Anthony Swafford. He fell for it, and I want to talk to Anthony Swafford right now. And we put in a complaint about Anthony Swafford, rightfully so, because here he is, a trained military police officer, or, he's not an officer, but a military police, and he let his emotions get the better of him. Okay? He did not even investigate to see if what guard mount was telling him was the truth. And even if he investigated and believed the guard mount, which in Richard's case it was all false, but why would you let any smear, when it involves an active duty soldier that's missing, why would you let that move your or dissuade you from trying to search for the missing soldier? That you have no incentive. And that's exactly, not only did he not have any incentive because of his personal feelings to look for Richard, which I think is very unprofessional for a military police, but he worked, this is where the crime, double crime, is that he worked to sabotage then the search for Richard. And so, it showed a real lack of understanding, or a lack of professionalism, and just some ignorance. I would say that he just trusted the guard mount, right? Because in this very not only corrupt but compromised, there is so many of our positions are so compromised, you're going to have to fact check, right? You're going to have to do your homework, and especially when it comes to a missing soldier, and especially the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier, and especially when you see that Fort Hood has a missing soldier being found that was claimed to be AWOL, and then all of a sudden his remains are found, and then Vanessa Guillen's remains are found, and so you would think that he would, as a trained military police, that he would look this up, but we're learning that they're not being trained right. And he's a good example of that. They're not being trained. Our service members are not being trained appropriately. And that is the result of that. I believe that. And this is not us picking on Anthony Swafford. This is saying to the military police, including him, that they need to start paying more attention and do their due diligence and not let their emotions guide them as law enforcement officers. So that is really, really important, I think. Especially when you have the DES, Thomas Kane, untrustworthy, even though he's a whistleblower and he's giving us a lot of good information to help us put together more of our case that we have, and the understanding how this all happened, so that we can, meet our goal, and our goal is to bring Richard home. That's our goal, is to bring him home, his remains home. But the more information that comes out, especially with 3905 Bliss Avenue, it seems like they are tampering with corpses, that they are tampering with remains. And I don't know if they are dismembering them for a reason, to sell their parts, to harvest their parts. I don't know. I know there is a big market for that. I don't know if they are cashing in on insurance by changing their identity, because there is a identity theft going on in our son's case as well. And there seems to be some real business plan to change identity and to cash in on some of these remains, on the remains. And that is eerie. That is absolutely terrible. And I don't know how the better way to say it is, um, because it's not enough for them to traffic narcotics. It's not enough for them to weapon smuggle and ammunition smuggle. It's not enough for them to sexually assault 7-year-olds in Leilani Hart's master bedroom. It's not enough for them to do all of that. They have to mess with the corpses of people, the remains. And that's what it's looking like now. So we absolutely know that Thomas Kane has said that, um, you know, they were smearing Richard. And we know that from Captain Park. We know that from First Sergeant Jay Pollan, that they were smearing Richard. We know that from Dirty Agent Marlon Soto, that they were smearing Richard. And, this was leaked all through the system, so that people would, not even think about Richard. So I'm hoping that we can, well, I'm asking you to share all of these videos, because the truth cannot be stopped. We need to get to the truth, and that's going to take you. It's going to take you to share, share, share. And I mentioned TikTok at the beginning of this because we're almost at 4,000. And I haven't been on TikTok that long. And we've been at 4,300 on Facebook for a long time. So they're absolutely blocking us, or absolutely shadow banning us. And TikTok proves that. And also Rumble. Rumble, thank you if you're on Rumble, also proves that. We also know through Kyle, what Kyle Rettenoff, I think his name is. Anyway, he is the young man that uh, protected himself during the riots, right? The Antifa riots. We know we've learned a lot from him, listening to him. Um, and I would even suggest going on alternative media to look at what's happening with the January 6th, because we absolutely know that January 6th was a setup. Donna Martin, the Lieutenant General, contacted us the day before to tell us not to go because she knew something was up, which is really rotten of her, really rotten of her. And, you know, um, they needed to have more safety on that day. But it wasn't because of the people. It was because the uh, the law enforcement were shooting rubber bullets out in the crowd, which I will tell you, that was the nicest crowd. They were nice, and still until they were egged on and all of that. So that's kind of in the news right now too. Um, on this January 6th, stuff is really coming to light, and I'm very glad. So, if you have any questions, okay. Thank you everyone for coming on, and we will be back tomorrow. But I just absolutely, because I know it's Advent time, it's Advent cookie baking time, right? Decorating Christmas trees and getting presents together. And it's just a beautiful time. It's a time of confession, Confession is the cure of souls. And, so I want all of you to know that I'm thinking about you in that way, um, knowing, hoping that your family is enjoying the season. So thank you so much. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing, and just share. Thank you.